Hey everybody, Nancy here from American Pet Professionals. Happy Tuesday and welcome back to our next episode of Digging into the Pet Industry, where we bring you some of our incredible members from American Pet Professionals. So, if wherever you're watching from, thank you for being here. And if you are listening to our podcast, thank you for listening as well. And I am thrilled to introduce to you our next guest, APP member Claudia Cesarotti. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay, of your copywriting solution. Welcome, Claudia.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. So, on our show, we just kind of jump right in, we dig in.
Good.
And Claudia, I know your business, one of your businesses, because you are a multiple business owner, which is amazing, is your copywriting solution, which we talked about. But let's start from the beginning. How did you get into the pet industry?
So, like way back in 1988, when I got my first Cocker Spaniel puppy, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to learn how to groom her? So I actually took classes at a community college, and
Okay.
they're more of a demonstration type.
Hmm.
And so I would practice on my own dog, and anybody who would let me practice on their dog, was kind of taking their life in their hands. But
Got to start somewhere.
exactly. My dad had a puppy at the time, and so I just kind of was, and I was working at an insurance company paying medical claims at the time. So this was all like in the evening and on weekends.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a lady, my dad had taken his Airedale puppy in to get groomed or for a flea bath. And she saw the grooming on it and she offered me a job. So that was one of the first of the 5 jobs.
Wow. You really paid attention to those demos. Holy moly.
So I worked at 5 different places before I opened my own shop in 1991.
Wow, that's incredible. That just goes to show how good of a student you were paying attention.
I basically learned it out of a book. They had those really nice books that showed you how to do it. And it was, it just came naturally, I guess.
Yes. You know what? People that are watching or listening, they may not realize that we had to go to the library back then to learn things.
Yes. And it was a manual. It was nothing online. It was nothing on a computer.
There was no, looking it up on YouTube or figuring it out or going to the, maybe there was a conference, but not like it is today. That's really incredible. I learned how to train my dog to heel when I was like 12 because of one dog training book that they had at the library. So that's incredible. And so you started in 1991. So you've been quite a while in the pet industry, grooming dogs.
Yes.
What would you say has changed or evolved besides learning from a manual over the years in grooming?
I would say that there is more opportunity to learn now.
Yeah.
When I was still doing that, when I was just learning, there was like one grooming school.
Wow.
In the area, and now there's like 5, and you can also there is online options, which I realize you can't like practice online. You can learn online, and I guess a lot of those online classes, you do have to do an externship or some kind of internship at a groomer to get the certificate.
Okay, that's cool. So, and are you still grooming today?
Yes.
Wow.
So trying to transition out of grooming into the more of the pet industry copywriting.
Yeah.
But I'm still grooming, yes.
You are still grooming. So how many days a week are you still grooming?
5 days a week.
Wow. And you're still busy, I'm sure, because groomers are always in demand, right?
Yes. I probably do 12 to 15 dogs a day. I have 2 wonderful girls who work with me. And so the 3 of, it's a busy day. It's a long day. And by Saturday, I'm really tired.
Yeah. How is your back?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to transition out of it.
Yeah. I think that's what happens.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of groomers, right? They do it, they love it, they've been doing it for a long time, but it is a physical demand on your body to be a dog groomer. People, I don't think really even realize how much of that demand it is.
No, especially on a day after day basis. And it's usually a 7 to 9 hour day, so you're pretty beat up at the end of the day.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone that is just starting out in the grooming world?
I would just say, practice as much as possible because it is a skill. And any skill, you're going to get so much better the more you do it. And, just learn dog behavior. One of the biggest tips I've always given the girls who have worked with me is start everything from the back so that you can see the head, you can see what the head's going to do. And, that's the whole bitey part. So, we want to keep that away.
That's such a great advice. I've talked to a lot of groomers over the years. I don't think anybody has ever said that start from the back, because that logically makes so much more sense, right?
It really does, and especially with a dog you don't know, you just want to, you don't want to sneak up on them or anything, and just kind of, but you definitely want to start on the back end and just kind of see what their reaction is going to be before you go forward.
And what about pet parents that are either getting a new puppy or just adopted a shelter dog, and that dog is going for the first time it's ever grooming? Any quick tips on what they could do?
I think that they can just, as they drop off the dog, they can be calm. They can be, just, it's like not make it a big deal. It's almost like dropping your kid off in kindergarten,
Yeah.
If you say, oh my God, and you're going to be okay. And, it makes the kid go, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And it's the same thing with the dog.
Yeah.
So I just think just be calm, hopefully you're confident in your groomer, and, just try not to make it a big deal.
Yeah, that's really great advice. It's so true, because the dogs pick up on that. They're like, what's happening?
Yes, instantly.
Yeah. And of course, it depends on the dog. Some dogs could care less. They're happy to be getting groomed, and some dogs not so much, right?
Very true. And it's so nice, because I do have some people that, they're like, this dog never used to love to the groomer. He used to, now they run in,
Oh, that's great.
We're happy to have them,
That's a testament. That's a really great testament of how well you treat the dogs if they're running into the grooming, because there are some that they just really don't like it.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some that are reluctant.
Yeah, yeah. So when is it that you decided to go, I love grooming. I've done this since 1991 officially on my own business, and now I want to start pivoting to marketing and copywriting and all that stuff?
Writing has always intrigued me my whole life, but I've just never really done it. And I came across, it's a company called AWAI, and it's American Writers and Artists Institute. And they teach copywriting. And it was like my sister one day said, hey, you should do this. And it was like the same day that I saw this myself.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, wow, that's a message.
Yeah.
And I thought, but it took me a while to connect it with the pet industry, because I don't really see a pet industry businesses doing a lot of digital marketing yet. I think that a lot of them are trying it and trying to get their feet wet. But I just thought it would be something that I could do in my retirement. And it's something you can do for the rest of your life, basically. I don't have to quit. And I could always, it's always, and something I could do anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection, so it gives you a lot of freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you actually start? You have had some clients, and you've been doing this for a few years now since I've known you. So when did you start that part of it where you were like, okay, now I'm ready to take on clients?
So your copywriting solution, I started that in 2017.
Oh, okay.
And, I got the, a website, and I got an email and that kind of thing, but I didn't really pursue clients until the last couple of years.
Okay.
When I felt like I was, actually had something of value to offer them,
That's
some
great.
knowledge, some skill,
Yeah, it's funny because you're a pet business owner, right? So you probably were marketing your own business without even realizing that you already have that skill. People don't realize that when they're running their own business. They're like, I don't know anything about marketing. And I'm like, you probably do. You just might not know the formal part of it, right? You think that you have to go for schooling, and you might, but you could also be inclined to it. Like you said, you were always intrigued by writing. So that's really interesting. So when you were doing, I know you're still doing your business full time, but when you were doing the grooming for any promotion, were you doing that all yourself prior to 2017?
Pretty much. I really didn't know where else to go. And it's funny that you say that, because, back in 1991, the only marketing that you could really do was like the yellow pages. Yeah. And that's non-existent now.
No.
So, so any marketing, like we went to a couple of the community shows, and, I always wanted to keep it local.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, it's not going to do me any good to go into the Chicago area or
Right.
into the, Naperville area, because you want to keep it local.
Yeah.
So I would do, the little shows and have my little banner out. I would always offer free bandanas and free nail clippings. So I always had a line at my booth.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, with the free nail clipping.
Yes.
That's really interesting. So you were marketing ahead of time when, like you said, there was not many avenues. You either advertised, you do shows, and now there's marketing basically everywhere. So that's really interesting. So I love the fact that you took the time to you took the course with that organization. You've been doing your own marketing, and that you took the time to really, hone in on your craft, because a lot of times people, they're like, I'm going to be a marketer today, and tomorrow they're taking on 5 clients or promoting themselves that they have experience, and they might not have as much experience. So I love that you took the time to do that.
Yes. I mean, I just felt like that was, frankly, a lot of, any copywriting, any digital marketing, it can get expensive, and you definitely need to know what you're doing and provide as much value as possible to take whatever efforts they're doing as far as possible.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. So you understand marketing and good copywriting from a business owner perspective, as well as being an expert now in it on the other side, right? As helping clients. What would you say is the biggest challenge for pet business owners to understand about marketing, SEO, copywriting, digital marketing?
I think that they don't quite understand how much value it could help, how much value it could provide to them.
Yeah.
Like just an everyday, not an everyday blog, but even a weekly or a bi-weekly blog on their website could be, Google loves that.
Yeah.
And Google, there's a statistic that said if you blog 16 times a month, you will be 434% more indexed by Google.
Wow. That's a lot of blogging.
That's a lot of, and that's a lot of people who see you now.
Yeah. But you could potentially do it for a client if they have a series, right? Grooming tips 101 for the new puppy owner or whatever,
Absolutely.
You got a doodle, here's what you need to know. I mean, God, you could write 100 blogs on that.
So true.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. So that's pretty cool. But it is true that they may not grasp the concept, or they get it, but they think, I don't have the time or I don't have the budget, when there's people like you who could do it for them.
Exactly. And I think too that they might think it's too expensive for them. It just really, I mean, you can really pick and choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you can totally tailor it to your needs. Yeah. And then you don't have to start with a big splash. You can start with just, what you think will work best for you, and then, see how it goes. And then if that's going well, maybe add another thing. And if that's going well, maybe add another thing. And I think that, they will just see a huge increase in people's awareness, basically.
Do you do any kind of like auditing or anything, like when you meet with a new client, like what have you done in the past and to assess what you can do for them next?
I can do an SEO audit, which basically kind of measures their SEO if they even have anything going yet. I can also do a site content audit. Okay. So basically auditing the content on each page of their website, and, possibly, SEO optimizing that to its best ability. And, just making sure that their website is working as hard as it can.
Wow, that's a really good service, because a lot of people need that. I probably need that as well on my website.
I mean, pretty much any website could be improved.
Yeah.
Mine included, there's always something you can do to tweak it.
Definitely. 100%. We're working on a new website, and it's, it's a slow process, right?
It is.
So, but I think it's important, because I think we get stuck in with what we've had over the years, and like, that works, but not really looking at that SEO or the copywriting that's on our, is that going to lure in our ideal client? So I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
So what other services do you offer the busy pet business owner?
So one of the things that you want to do before you even start out with what you should be doing for digital marketing is that you need to find out who you are digital marketing to. So what is your client? And you can, and most pet businesses would say, well, it's pet parents, and they're not wrong, but what, are you looking at the millennials? Are you looking at the boomers? Are you looking at women? Are you looking at, if you live in a city, are you looking at city people? If you, so I mean, you can totally narrow it down and even make yourself 2 or 3 personas and, kind of market to each one of those.
Yeah.
And it's just really helpful when the message is as pinpointed as possible.
Yeah, I can't, agree with you more on that, because I've spoken with pet business owners over the years, and like, well, who's your ideal client? Who do you want to sell to? And they're like, everybody. Okay, let's break it down. Yeah.
It really makes sense when they say everybody, because that's what, everybody wants everyone to just know them. It's just not applicable to everybody.
Right. Exactly. And it's, you want to say, yes, I understand that it's everybody, but let's figure it out. So that's really cool that you really help them break that down, because I think that is such a valuable thing that people don't always realize that they need to know when they're marketing and learning all of that. So the fact that you can help them with that is really incredible.
Right. That's pretty first step.
Yeah. So what else do you offer service-wise?
So then once we figure out who we're talking to, basically you want to know, everyone, all right, say we have, we're targeting millennial women for, and you want to know what their intent is. So basically everyone has a problem that they're trying to solve.
Right.
So a pet owner has a problem they're trying to solve, say their dog chews too much. So that's the problem. So they would be putting into Google, what can I do about my dog chewing too much? So they're basically in the research mode. Mm-hmm. They have a problem. They're looking for a solution. Then, eventually, most likely they will find a solution. Then once they have a solution, they want to know which solution, what company is best for me for this solution. And then the next one would be the buy intent, because that would be then now I have a problem. I found a solution. Now I purchased the solution. And the last one, which a lot of companies forget about, is teaching their buyer how to use their product successfully.
Amen. Yeah.
I think that alone, that last part is ignored by a lot of companies in general. But, I think that is so important, because you really need to have that person satisfied. And that person satisfied, a happy customer is it's so much easier to market to a happy customer than it is to even find new customers.
And then they're going to start talking about your product. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
That's it. So I can't, that is such a good point. I'm so glad that you said that, because the education part of your product, product companies, not all, but a lot, assume that pet parents are going to understand what to do with their product, and they don't always understand, right?
Correct.
No matter what kind of product it is.
Exactly.
Or like let's say a harness company, you get a harness for your dog and you have no clue how to size it, put it on.
Yep.
The ones that have the tutorials and the best sizing, they're going to keep selling like crazy, because it's so much easier to go onto their website. And a lot of times I got a harness and it gave me the instructions when it came, and also where I could go online on their website and find how to do it. It was pretty easy, but sometimes just that a little bit of adjustment. So that is so smart. I love that you said that, because it's true. And we're not pinpointing or targeting anybody. It just happens to be part of the process. And on the other end, educate the pet retailer about your product, so they can also educate their pet parents coming into the store.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's really cool. So then what's the next step?
So hopefully I'm looking, actually right now, I was telling you before that I was looking for a buyer for my pet grooming business.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can, it's a thriving, business. It's been in the community for a really long time. I just hate, I don't know how much long my back is going to hold out, but I just hate to shut it down. I would just love to see someone who's got that 2 to 3 to 5 years experience, just kind of take it and go,
Yeah. And where are you located again, Claudia?
I am in my shop is in Bloomingdale, Illinois.
Okay, so if anybody watching in the Bloomingdale, Illinois area, reach out to Claudia to buy her grooming shop so she can do what she's doing now at your copywriting solution. All right, I have another question. What was your biggest challenge in getting your new pet business off the ground? Or has it been a challenge?
It has been a challenge.
Okay.
I do think, just actually learning the skill, it does take way more time than you think it's going to.
Yeah.
And actually, you really want to stay with companies that already have some kind of sense of value for the digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't really go into a company and start trying to educate them and trying to talk them into it. They either have to think it's a good thing or not.
Yeah.
And so, I find that the companies that I've actually done some jobs for, they actually do value it, but they are still in the transition, trying to get it done on a regular basis.
Yeah. So when you say digital marketing, that encompasses a lot of different things. Can you give that a little bit of a breakdown so people understand it?
Sure. Actually, digital marketing is kind of more of an umbrella term for content marketing, email marketing, any kind of, webinars or any kind of free reports that you might put on your website or any kind of blog posts. I got a whole list here. Any kind of template, and not all digital marketing is applicable to every business.
That's true.
I would say that most pet industry companies would really benefit from, like a regular blog. They would definitely benefit from email marketing. I would say that, podcasts are a great way to digital market. So to you, any kind of free video, like maybe like we were discussing, like when on the back end, when people have already bought the product, there's FAQ pages on a website is a really good thing. Just the actual product page that actually tells you all about the item when you're actually ready to buy. And a lot of these things too can intermix. Like you can use a blog post for the beginning and the end. So when they're at the beginning, from when you're introducing a buyer to like a solution to their problem, and the blog also works when they've actually bought the product and now they want to use it properly.
Yeah. I love that. I also really love the reports, because a lot of people don't put those together, and that's valuable information. It creates a great lead magnet if you're trying to create help with your email list, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Email list is like gold, because a lot of people think, I'm on social media, or a lot of business owner thinks I'm on social media, and that's great. But you need your own list, because if anything on social media changes, any algorithms, any if Facebook decides that they don't like that anymore or whatever, then it's gone. You're done.
TikTok gets banned.
Exactly.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. We were talking about that before. So silly. But it's so true. Listen, I am with you, preaching to my choir right here, because I've been talking about email marketing since 2008. Like that's when we started our email list. And that email list has helped me travel the country. If I didn't have that email list, there were events that I probably would not have been at. So it sounds crazy to say that, but it really has helped. And, I think that having people, like you say, they think, I'm on social media. You are on social media. You need a little bit of everything, but you have to figure out what's going to be the most value to your business. And having that email list is going to create so much value for your business.
So much. And it's something that you control and you own. It's not, you don't have, Facebook doesn't have anything to do with it. LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram has nothing to do with it. It's yours, and you have the control to do whatever you think is best.
Yeah. You can use all those avenues to direct people to your email list for that freebie, for that download, whatever it is, if that's what you're trying to do.
And a really good statistic is the average ROI, which is return on investment for an email list, is usually if you spend $1 on your email list, you get $42 back. Now, obviously that's an average, sometimes it's none, sometimes it's more than that, but I thought that's an amazing statistic. And that's a really good reason to be creating an email list.
Yeah. And, it always baffles me when I hear that somebody doesn't have an email list, especially
Yes.
like you have a grooming shop, right? For the mom and pop brick and mortar people, pet sitters, it doesn't matter what your business is, to have that email list to be able to reach out to your customers and let
Yes.
them know what's going on. Hey, we have 2 open spots this week for
Yes.
grooming, like just to shoot that email out. Or like right now it's snowing lately here in New York, like, hey, we're going to be a little delayed, like letting people know. People still open emails. There was a while there that people were like, oh, nobody opens emails. I'm like, they're opening my emails because my open rate is crazy. Like, so people are paying attention to that. Yes, you want your messaging in different spots, but we could talk about email all day long. I'm a big fan, but okay. So who is your ideal customer for copywriting solutions?
So my ideal customer would be like a company that already values digital marketing
Mhm.
and would just love some, company owners don't always have time to keep up on all the latest things. And I
100%.
would love to provide that for them. It's something that they already want, they know they should do, but
Yeah,
they just don't have the time. And that's totally feasible. And
absolutely.
I can absolutely help them with that.
They can delegate to Claudia to elevate their business, right? It's like,
Exactly.
and then they'll
Yes.
go, why didn't I do this sooner?
Exactly.
I
They
think,
say the best
that's,
time. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I would say they say the best time to make an email list was 5 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Exactly. And I think that goes for a lot of digital marketing too. And, I think
Yes.
a lot of pet business owners get really overwhelmed with the amount of content that can be done. And like you said earlier, I think picking and choosing a few avenues to start with is like the smartest way. You don't
Mhm.
have to be on every single thing
No,
all
not
over the
anymore.
place. You can if that's what you want, but it can be really all encompassing and consuming, and then you get shut down, and then you're like, I need
Right,
to hire somebody to do this. So
right.
it's really an interesting thing with your own mind. If even if you're a business owner of with a lot of employees, or you're a solo entrepreneur, there's somebody that needs to help you with that.
Absolutely.
So is there anything about this area of the pet industry that you're in now that you didn't expect, or that is different from grooming?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally, everything is pretty much done digitally, obviously.
Yeah.
Even just meeting people, I'm used to having people come in and, saying hi and, just have chit chatting a
Yeah.
little bit, and so that would be strange when I don't do that anymore. That will
Yeah.
definitely, I miss that.
Yeah, 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 that in person.
You're looking forward to the shows and stuff so you can actually meet some people.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, and so what is new or next with your business? Is there anything that we haven't covered?
So I'm with my your copywriting solution. I'm actually going to start a new blog,
Oh, cool.
website that's just a blog. It's called Pet Biz Digital Marketing, and it's basically just going to be a blog posts and any kind of digital media, which could be images, written. It could be audio. It could be just all that stuff to show pet businesses the benefits of digital marketing. And like I said, digital marketing is the umbrella for all those other little things underneath it.
Yeah.
And so it's more going to be like, providing value, information, and just trying to show pet businesses what how digital marketing can benefit them.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely need more of that. Like you said earlier, there are digital marketing companies out there, but there's not a ton for the pet industry. I could think of a handful. So there's really
Yeah.
not that many. Awesome. And we will put the links to all of your information in the comment section. Okay,
Oh,
so I
great.
have a couple more questions.
Sure.
What for someone that's thinking about getting into the pet business or starting a pet business, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would say, just have patience. It's not going to be overnight. I mean, when I started my business, the first day, I think I had 4 dogs.
Wow.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it took a minute for it to kind of get going,
Yeah.
and that's not uncommon. That doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. That doesn't mean you're not marketing properly. but it takes time to get to know people and for people
Yeah.
to get to know you and for them to trust you with their, babies, fur babies.
Yeah.
It takes time. So, just have patience and just do the best job you can, because you're only as good as your last job,
Yes,
whether
I
it's
love that.
grooming or copywriting.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That's such good advice. You're right. It does take time. And I think we're in such a day and age where everything's so instantaneous that people don't realize that when you're starting a business, even if you're 5 years in, it's going to take some
Yes.
time to get where you want to be. So I love having patience. It's not always easy as a business owner to have that patience.
No, yes, especially when, you're looking for a particular income so that you can.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Best piece of grooming advice I have ever received was when I was still learning at other people's shops. And this one gal told me, always look at the dog from behind. Here I am behind again. Always look at the dog from behind so you can see anything on the top or underneath, and because you're used to looking at the dog full on,
Right.
Oh, I know. Or once you're on one side, look at the other side. And once you're on this side, look at that side. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I would have thought of that at that
Yeah.
moment. I was still first learning. But it
Right,
really
right.
need to, kind of make sure everything's in proportion, make sure everything is smooth and that nothing's sticking out. And that was really valuable to me when I was still learning.
That's really cool. I love that. Yeah, because you wouldn't really necessarily think it might look great from the front. The dog walks
Right.
away and you're like, why does he have a mullet?
Exactly.
Okay. So let me ask you this. This is a silly question, but what was the most unique pet you have ever groomed? Anything besides a dog or a cat?
I've cut some rabbit's nails before.
Okay.
I've had a lady that wanted me to trim her bird's beak and cut its wings, but I did not know how to do that. And I think that's a vet's job anyway.
Yeah.
But other than a cat, we do have a Bengal cat that we cut its nails. And he's a kitten now. And he's getting to the point where he's not liking me so much. But
Right. Yeah, they are beautiful, but they're definitely a little more wild than regular cats. So
definitely. And
wow.
I think I've groomed one Bedlington in my whole life.
Oh wow.
You don't really see a lot of those.
You don't see a lot of those. No, that's really interesting. You only see them at the dog shows.
Right. Exactly.
That's really cool. I was curious if you're going to be like, well, we had a zebra walk in one day. You never know.
No, we're in the suburbs. It's pretty tame.
Right. That's really funny. Yeah, trimming the cat nails, I definitely can see as being a challenge, you know. But
Yes.
it's interesting, and I've said this before, but like during the pandemic when we first locked down and everybody was like on my essential business, all of those crazy things, I was like, the grooming industry and we as a pet industry have done such a phenomenal job spoiling and taking care of pets, cats and dogs, because nobody knew how to brush their dog or cut their nails. I saw so many people freaking out on the internet, like, I don't know, my dog's nails are getting long. What do I do? How do I do this? How do I do that? So I was like, wow, kudos to the groomers out there, because people didn't have, I mean, I cut my dog's nails. He's got short hair, so he doesn't need grooming. But I always think about that, like how much we have really pampered the pets in this country. So it's incredible.
Absolutely. Yes.
So is there anything else that you would like to add that I didn't ask you about your business, about your grooming?
Just that, I'm really excited to be transitioning, kind of out of grooming, but into another area of the pet industry.
Yeah.
I just love it. And it's just, there's so much to learn. There's so much to, you can apply so much of, all this marketing and everything to so many different aspects of each pet business.
Yeah.
It's almost overwhelming in the amount of information and how much there is to learn. But
yeah.
Really excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And how can people that are watching or listening to the podcast connect with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And Tails of Wagon is on Facebook. But I mean, obviously it would be local.
Yeah.
I'm also on Facebook. But I would say through LinkedIn would be probably the best.
And what is your website for your copywriting solution? Is it just that, yourcopywritingsolution.com?
.com, right. And
All right,
the email
perfect.
is yourcopysolution at gmail.com.
Okay, great. We will put all of those into the comment section. And Claudia, this is a side note. We'll see you next week at Global Pet Expo.
We will. I'm excited to meet you in
Yes, I
person.
can't wait to see you in person finally and see you at the show. And thank you so much for being on our show today. And for anybody else that is watching or listening, go check out all the things that Claudia can do for your pet business when it comes to digital marketing. And I'll see you soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Claudia.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, bye.